ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जाय मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नष्टकी। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कंचना गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रीमद् भक्त वृंद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य दिवांग साहेब प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरुगण गौरंगा की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण।
कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा सत्य।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
So we are going to discuss extremely powerful topic. What is Krishna consciousness? Very powerful. Everything that we do is part of Krishna consciousness or one of the component of Krishna consciousness. But Srila Prabhupada, in many places, either through his classes or when he was on the morning walk, or in the purport of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, or in many of his books, such as On the Path of Perfection, and many places, Srila Prabhupada gave a very explicit definition of what is Krishna consciousness. We all are trying to be Krishna conscious, and for sure there are tons of philosophy that we have to know. At the same time, it's extremely important that we know what is Krishna consciousness, especially as we are going generation after generations of Krishna consciousness. The definition or the mood and mission that was set by our acharyas, the future generation have to follow, and that would happen when we are adhering to the teaching of our scripture. Very important that we know scripture thoroughly as much as possible, and then try to abide with it as much as possible. So Krishna consciousness is a very big topic. All the classes and everything else that we do is part of Krishna consciousness for sure. But for sake of this discussion, I have few topics here that I want to focus. First, what is the source of this word Krishna consciousness? From where this word is coming? How Prabhupada came up with this word Krishna consciousness? And then what are the multiple meanings and understanding and levels of Krishna consciousness? What are the different levels of Krishna consciousness? And then for a sadhaka, what he should do to advance in the path. And then what are the multiple components that we have to be aware. So again, series of discussions will follow up that will strengthen understanding of Krishna consciousness. In future classes also, I'll try to talk most of the items that are going to help us strengthen our Krishna consciousness. At least we should understand what we are all after. It's very, very important. But for sake of this topic, we are going to adhere to these four segments. So first, what is the source of Krishna consciousness? So when Srila Prabhupada came to North America, he wanted to start a new society, new movement. And challenge came to him that what should be the name of the society. Prabhupada wanted a international society, not something that is very localized. Although it was founded in North America, but Prabhupada's vision was that we start a society that's going to be all over the globe, all around the world. The branches will be all over. So the first word he gave was international. It's not going to be very sectarian, localized type of institute. It's going to be international society. So that part was easier. Then the next was, should it be God conscious or what? And there, devotee reached out to Srila Prabhupada and asked, Prabhupada, sounds like everybody all over the globe, they are running after God. So why don't we start the society that is known as International Society for God Consciousness? And there were some discussions. So one of the very basic understanding is God means for sure supreme person in one sense, but God has different meaning in different background, different community. So if you talk to Christian, they will say God is Jesus Christ. If you talk to Islam, they will say Allah is the God. If you talk to Hindu, they will say maybe Shiva is God or Ganesha is God or Hanuman is God. There are so many gods. So God itself was a very broad or vague term. It was not too specific. International Society for God Consciousness. So if we say that we are International Society for God Consciousness, then we are one among so many other society who are trying to be God conscious. Prabhupada said that no, we are trying to be Krishna consciousness. Very specific. Very specific. He said that we want to be Krishna consciousness. Very specific. And that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are going to create a society, and that society is going to teach how to be conscious of Krishna. Okay. So then our society was called as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. But then question remains from where this word Krishna consciousness is coming. So before I move to next slide, I want to ask if anybody knows any other story. What your understanding is about God versus Krishna. Can somebody share anything that you understand? Why it has to be so specific versus God consciousness? Or if you have heard any other story, have you heard anything about this term? International Society for God Consciousness versus International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Uh, Hare Krishna Prabhu. In general, God means will treat anyone like everyone will say sun god and Chandra means normally in like we will initially will pray to everyone, right? So all the demigods also will call God. So everyone will call as God.
Right. Correct. Thank you. Yeah. Very broad, very big term, very vague term. God consciousness.
And
That's a good
also,
point.
Prabhu, in Hinduism, there is a big confusion who is God.
Yeah.
There are many,
Satsai
many gods.
Baba. So many gods, you know.
So many gods.
Yes.
And also, others looking at our culture, Hinduism, they'll see like gods are many.
Yeah,
But
33 crores normally, like you will say, right?
gods are many, but actually, God is only one. That's the biggest concept.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu, that's what people say. Yeah.
I've heard about it. Yeah, 33 crore. You're right.
Once
Yes.
Chris also said that he thought gods are many in Hinduism.
Who?
So Christopher
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
Yes,
Even
he thought.
today, that's the
Mm.
challenge. Yeah.
So he
Yes.
said that
Oh,
God is only one actually. God can be only one. God cannot be many.
there cannot be thousands of God, right? Whatever name we call it, it's our choice, but there is only one God. And I know that this term God means so many things. Everybody is God. Bhagwan Rajneesh, that man was called as Bhagwan, and in English it's God. So yes, so many. Very vague term, right? Prabhupada said it has to be Krishna. Anything else?
The Krishna is absolute truth, source of all the sources, is Sobham Bonam. And God is a Ishwar, like controller, which, as you said, Prabhuji, it could be anyone, it's a big word, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so controller is, father also, mother also.
yeah. So, child,
Right? The mayor of the city is also controller. The district magistrate is also controller. And then the chief minister of the state or government is also, governor is also the controller. Then, for sure, president is also the, controller. And then United Nations is also controlling. So there are multifarious controller. No, you're right. So who we are talking about, right? Yes. So Prabhupada wanted to be very specific that no, we are trying to be Krishna conscious. And then he used the word Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Prabhu said, there is only one God. So let's hear some conversation. Can somebody read this? Read this one. So what Srila Prabhupada said.
The following the following interview with freelance reporter Sandy Nixon took place in July 1975 in Srila Prabhupada's quarters at the Krsna Center in Philadelphia. Mr. Nixon, my first question is very basic. What is Krishna consciousness? Srila Prabhupada answers. Krishna means God. We are all intimately connected with Him because He is our original Father. But we have forgotten this connection. When we become interested in knowing what is my connection with God, what is the aim of life, then we are called Krishna conscious. Nixon. What transformation does one undergo on the path? Srila Prabhupada. No transformation. Your original consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Now, your consciousness is covered with so much rubbish. You had to cleanse it. And then Krishna consciousness. Our consciousness is like water. Water is by nature clear and transparent, but sometimes it becomes muddy. If you filter all the mud out of the water, it again comes to its original clear transparent state.
Mm. Very clear, you can see Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So first, Krishna means God. First statement, Prabhupada said. That be clear that Krishna is the God. Very clearly. Krishna is the God. Confusion gone. Who is God? Krishna is the God. And we are intimately connected with Him because He is our original Father. Mamayansa Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana. It's not that we don't know Krishna. Says Prabhupada says that we are intimately connected because He is our original Father. See, Prabhupada's in each and every word so powerful. But we have forgotten this connection. So when we are interested to know that connection with God and what is aim of our life, that is Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is saying Krishna consciousness means reviving our lost connection, and that should be the aim of our life. So aim of our life is to revive our forgotten relationship with Supreme Father, reviving that connection back. And who is the Supreme Father? Krishna, which is the God. And then what transformation does one undergo on the path? That's very important. People in today's society, they are looking after miracles. This Babaji can take the dust and turn into gold. That type of miracles and transformation. Krishna consciousness is self transformation. It's not something that is going to be artificially imposed. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakta Sadhya Kabunaya Sarvanadi Suddha Chitta Karaya Udaya. Krishna is teaching. Mahaprabhu is teaching to Sadhana Goswami. Like Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabunaya. This is not new for sadhaka. It's not that this is something very new, foreign concept that is being introduced to the follower. It's not naya, it's not new. It has to be revived. And how it revives? It revives by Sarvan Adi, by hearing, etc. Suddha Chitta, when heart is pure, then this consciousness is awakened. So very clearly, Prabhupada first gave who the God is. God is Krishna. And also he says that this is not something so well, Prabhupada, so expert. It's not something new that I am coming to impose on you and telling you that you have to do something extra. No, this is inside you. And then Prabhupada gives the example of water by nature is clear, transparent. But sometimes it becomes muddy. So that muddy state that living entities are, that has to be cleaned up. The mud has to get out of the water. Then it comes to its original, clear, transparent state very clearly. So that's what it is. Chatudarpana Marjanam, process of cleansing ourselves. So next we are going to see from where this term Krishna consciousness comes. And this term is coming from Sri Rupa Goswami. In his Padyavali, Sri Rupa Goswami has written this verse that says, Krishna Bhakti Ras Bhavita Matihi. क्रियतम यदि कुतो अपि लभ्यते तत्र लौल्यम अपि मूल्यम एकलम जन्म कोटि सुकृतैर्न लभ्यते कृष्ण भक्ति रस भविता matihi. So Krishna Bhakti is Krishna's devotional service. Rasa is mellow and Mati is intelligence. Bhavitaha to be situated, become. So Krishna Bhakti Bhavita Mati is consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is coming from here. Krishna Bhakti, Krishna, Rasa Bhavita Mati consciousness. So Krishna consciousness word comes from this verse. Padyavali. Padyavali verse number 14, compiled by Sri Rupa Goswami. And this verse is also cited by Mahaprabhu in Sanatan Shiksha, Chaitanya Charitamrita, 25th chapter, I believe, verse number 200 or 300, something like that, where he says the same thing. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. Make your mind infused with Krishna's devotion. That's Krishna consciousness. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. Kriyatam Yadi Kutu Api Lavyate. Get it, Lavyate, wherever you can find it. Don't delay, he says. Srila Rupa Goswami is saying, don't delay. Get it. Yadi Kutu Api Lavyate. Wherever you get it. But what is the price? Tat Lolyam Api Mulyam Ekalam. There is only one price. And that price is Lolyam, greed. Greed to obtain Krishna. Janma Koti Sukritair Labhyate. But that greed is not easily obtained even after millions and millions and millions of pious activity that one does in their lives. So this lolyam is very important. Lolyam for Krishna Bhakti is not easily obtained after millions and millions of life's pious deed that one does. So pious credit is not the prerequisite to become Krishna conscious. Bhaktya Sanjayate Bhaktihi. Devotional service comes from, devotion comes from Guru Krishna, either by a spiritual master who is Bhakta or by Lord himself or by devotee of Krishna. So to make this point more clear, that one need that lolyam, mulya meklam. There is only one cost. There is only one price, and that price is greed. Greed. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi, to become Krishna conscious. Lolyam. And then this lolyam word Prabhupada has in multiple of his classes and again morning walk given us the understanding that what that lolyam means at different stage of our Krishna consciousness. So anything here? Anything anybody has to talk here? So now you understand from where this word Krishna consciousness is coming? It's coming from Padyavali, from this verse. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamatihi. Let our mind be infused with the devotional service of Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. And price is lolem, greed. So that greed, we have to understand. What is the meaning of that greed? He also says that that greed is not something that one can easily achieve by the pious deed. Janma koti sukriti, pious deed. Nalabhyate, one cannot obtain this greed. Lolam here means intense greed. This cannot be obtained by many millions of lives. So that's how the term Krishna consciousness is defined. Can somebody read this, please? All of this one after another.
Morning walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Morning walk, April 26, 1976, Melbourne. Krishna anxiety itself is the first class devotional service. Prabhupada. Krishna anxiety itself is the first class devotional service. If one becomes anxious like that, then he is perfect. Janm koti kutrair na labhyate. After many millions of life of pious activity, one can get such anxiety. This is not so easy to become anxious for Krishna. You don't think it is like ordinary activity anxiety. Koti kurta. If one becomes full of anxiety for Krishna, that is the highest stage of perfection.
Yeah. So Prabhupada says that lolyam is anxiety, being anxiety for Krishna. So Krishna conscious, so first term is anxiety. How anxious we are for Krishna. And he says this is first class devotional service. We purify by being anxious, anxiety. Now, normally people would not take this term. Why we have to be anxious for Krishna? He is Ishvara, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's saying that Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, Mata Sarva Pravartate, everything comes from me. Why we have to be anxious for him? For purification. Krishna and Prabhupada is saying that that anxiety does not come easily. Koti Sukrita hai. Millions and millions of life we have spent doing the pious deed. Even after that, we cannot achieve that anxiety. So being anxious, very important. Let what Prabhupada has to say further. Prabhu, please keep on reading.
Lecture on Bhagavad
Yeah.
Lecture on Bhagavad Gita 16, 11 and 12. Hawaii, February 7, 1975. When we are anxious how to protect a property, how to push on this moment, how people will take it, how what line of action we shall take. This is also anxiety, but that anxiety is for Krishna. Therefore, it is bhakti and anxiety. Even in Vrindavan, there is anxiety. Radha Rani is in anxiety that Krishna is not here. How Krishna will come? The gopis are also in anxiety.
So here is here, very important point, extremely important. So one should not think, oh, so are you saying that Krishna consciousness means I have to be in anxiety? Prabhupada said, yes, yes. In Vrindavan also there is anxiety. When Krishna is going out with cows, the gopis and gopas, they are in anxiety. I don't know what will happen. Every day Krishna is going, something is happening. So they have deep anxiety. Radha Rani is in anxiety. I don't know where Krishna is gone. What time he will come. So there is anxiety everywhere. And then Prabhupada said, When we are anxious, how to protect the temple, property of the Krishna consciousness, how to push on this movement, how people will take it, what line of action we shall take. This is all anxiety, but that is for Krishna, and therefore it is bhakti. So bhakti, anxiety. So anxiety for Krishna consciousness is bhakti. Sometimes we reach out to people, oh, it's too much. Let's read this before I talk. You will get everything what Prabhupada told about Krishna consciousness. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Morning walk ex, ex, excerpt May 2, May 2nd, 1974, Mumbai. Sat Swarupa, Prabhupada. We are only neophytes. How we can know if an anxiety is still material when we feel anxiety in devotional service? Prabhupada. No, no. If you feel anxiety for Krishna, then it is not material. That
Mhm.
anxiety is not, that is love. This is pure love. That why you become anxious for our children, because there is love. So whole scheme is that you have to transfer your attachment to Krishna.
Hey, Prabhupada. So Satswarup Goswami is asking, but we are neophyte, Prabhupada. How we can take anxiety? He says, no, no, no. That anxiety is for Krishna. It's not material anxiety. And Prabhupada said there, that anxiety is also bhakti. That's love. That's pure love, Prabhupada said. An example he gives that we are anxious for our babies. Where she's gone, where he's gone, what he's doing, right? So it's similar. Similar. When you have love, you have anxiety. When you have bhakti, you have anxiety. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Yes, Prabhu, please read.
Morning walk, April 26, 1976, Melbourne. Always remain in anxiety for Krishna. Prabhupada. Mother Yasoda is always anxious. Krishna is crawling. Whether he is falling down in some water or some monkey has come hurting him or so. Always. Or he is touching some fire. Always anxiety. And beside that, the demons are coming. So, this is perfection. Always remain in anxiety for Krishna.
Did you hear, devotees? That's how Prabhupada gives. What is the meaning of that lolium? That lolium is basically anxiety. Always remain in anxiety for Krishna. So I would like to stop here. I think it's very clear by reading these morning walks how Prabhupada told us how we should be in our Krishna consciousness. So I would just like to have a pause and hear if there is any comment.
Prabhu, is there a beginning stage of Krishna consciousness or advanced stage?
Yeah, I will talk about it. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
So Kanishta, Madhama, and Uttama, you know, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that's what it is. But Prabhupada here, in terms of Krishna consciousness, he gives a very higher understanding, very technically very profound understanding of what exactly it means to be anxiety in Krishna. So we'll talk about that.
So, Prabhuji, so the anxiety with love or with affection, that's Krishna consciousness, but not anxiety with anything else. Like, I mean, there are
Any anxiety for Krishna is sign of pure devotion. That's what Prabhupada is saying. So what exactly you meant by anxiety? What type of anxiety?
like
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
says
mentioned,
that if you are in anxiety for building the temple, if you are anxiety that how Krishna consciousness will be given to the people, if you are in anxiety that how this movement will move on, it's all pure bhakti. That's what Prabhupada said. You just read here how to protect the property, how to push on this movement, how people will take it, what line of action we shall take. This is all anxiety. And that is anxiety for Krishna. Therefore, it is bhakti.
Yes, Prabhuji. But my question was like Kamsa, right? He's also anxiety about Krishna, but it's a different way, but not in the loving enemy kind of, that way. So that is not the Krishna consciousness.
No, it's not Krishna consciousness, but akam sarva kamo va moksha kama udhar dehi. Either you have kama or you are akama. In any case, if you remember Krishna, it's auspicious. An example is Shishupal. What happened with Shishupal?
Yeah, after
He
some.
got, he got liberation. Same thing. If Krishna is coming in front of Kamsa, Kamsa is not originally person, right? Ordinary person. Krishna personally coming in front of somebody is result of their remembering of Krishna. So yes, Prabhupada did say that we should try to anukulasya sankalpaya. We should try to remember Krishna in favor, not against. So when Rupa Goswami gives the definition of pure devotion, he says, Gyan karma anavritam anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya. Whenever we are remembering Krishna and when we are free from this all ulterior desire, Gyan and karma, in favor of Krishna, that is called Uttam Bhakti. Anyavilasita sunyam Gyan karmadi anavritam anukulenu Krishnanu silnam bhaktir uttamam. So anukul definitely is recommended by our acharya. But even if somebody is being envious to Krishna, still they are thinking about Krishna. And if you remember the past time that once there was one article given to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to edit, to look at and make sure that there is no error. And Saraswati Thakur just looked at how many times the article uses the word Krishna, 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 Krishna. Says publish it. It will help people. So just by saying Krishna, living entity will purify. So Anukul definitely is favored, no doubt about it, for sure. But even if somebody is pratikul, against, still going to Krishna, jena tena prakarena, whatever means, if one is going towards Krishna, is going to benefit that person. Yes, Mataji. Are you raising your hand, Santa Mataji?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, it is taking time to unmute. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So for this anxiety, yeah, whatever Yashoda Mata and Gopis, anxiety is like it's the final level. I mean,
Top class anxiety.
top
We'll talk
class
about that.
anxiety. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
three
the top.
levels of Krishna
Yeah,
consciousness.
top class anxiety. Next, I wanted to mention this example. Just I'm thinking, Prabhu. Suppose if I'm believing like a complete faith on Krishna, then there won't be any anxiety. Like means in between. I'm saying like just I'm trying to remember this example where cat is holding its kid, and again monkey's kid is holding monkey. Means how we are holding. Is it we are thinking I'm holding or Krishna is holding me? That is the example of these two, right, Prabhu? In the case of cat, I believe cat is holding the kid, and where that doesn't have any anxiety, as I completely have faith on my mother, and I'm safe always. So, in the anxiety of these two cases, where cat kid doesn't have any anxiety.
So you are saying that, if I understand correctly, let me repeat it. You are saying that when cat is holding the kitten, the baby feels safe, right? So there is no anxiety. That's what you were saying, right? So why we have to take the anxiety for Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu, because yeah, in between, say I'm like that kitten. I don't have any anxiety because I'm completely depends on Krishna, where Krishna is taking care of me. I'm not like a monkey,
Right,
where
right,
I'm
right,
holding the mother.
right. So this anxiety is not for self protection. The person, and this anxiety has multiple levels. So in the very beginning stage, one might think or feel that that this anxiety is material anxiety. But Prabhupada is saying here very clearly, when Sataswarup Maharaj asked that, Prabhupada, we are neophyte. So how we can take anxiety? This might be material anxiety. Prabhupada said, no, no, no. This is not a material anxiety. So now two things we have to be very clear. We cannot mix the term. So if there is anxiety for self protection, that we are not talking about. That is not the anxiety that is being addressed here. This is anxiety for Krishna, Krishna consciousness. Anxiety that will promote Krishna consciousness. Anxiety that we are taking for Krishna is not, but in the beginning stage, so Kanista, Madhma, and Uttama, one of the definition Rupa Goswami gives is that there are multiple definitions, by the way. These adhikaris have been defined in multiple ways. One of the definition is that degree of faith. Degree of faith. So Kanista has very little faith. Their faith is still not formed. So at that faith, there might be some other contamination. It might appear that there is something else more important than taking anxiety for Krishna, but we are not talking about that part. Anxiety here refers to soothe anxiety, pure anxiety, that is for Krishna only. That is for Krishna consciousness. Saragun Samahite. If you are Krishna conscious, Krishna will give you all the protection. Dati Buddhi Yogam Tam Tena Mamupyantite, Krishna says. I give them the knowledge, I give them the wisdom by which they will come to me. So this is not talking about anxiety for self-protection, self-care. This is very specifically pure devotional service if it's anxiety for Krishna. So we are taking that contamination part out. And that is not going to happen in the beginning stage. But at least this gives the inspiration that we have to be in anxiety for Krishna. We have to take anxiety for Krishna. And that anxiety has to purify. Like the terms we say, Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, Kevalya Bhakti. There is bhakti everywhere. Guni Bhuta Bhakti also has bhakti. Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti also has bhakti. Kevalya Bhakti also has bhakti. But Guni Bhuta Bhakti has a bhakti in a very dilute quantity. The guna, the modes of material nature are dominant. There are more modes, a little bit bhakti. But bhakti is there too. But that bhakti is Guni Bhuta Bhakti. So anxiety in the beginning stage may be with the modes. Okay. But that anxiety slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, when it becomes fully complete, clean anxiety, like Radharani has anxiety, Mother Yashoda has anxiety, Nand Baba has anxiety, then it becomes Kavalya Bhakti. So that's how you have to understand. In the beginning, there might be some degree of moods. Is it good enough? Is it helping you, or you can ask follow-up if it's not helping you?
No, yes, Prabhu, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Means is the level of things means
Yes,
initially
level there.
initially the material anxiety, and slowly, we are slowly depending on the Krishna. Slowly means it is at least initially towards me, right? Slowly, I may go in this position where everything will be taken care, Krishna, where I don't have any anxiety at least on me, and later slowly towards Krishna, whether what related to the Krishna. Uh, it is the top level.
Slowly and slowly transfer.
Mm.
Yes, slowly and slowly, as our consciousness will purify, our anxiety will also increase. And once Prabhupada was asked, that Prabhupada, what is the difference between you versus a material manager? Because you are also after managing people, you are trying to build, multiple temples, you are trying to earn more money, and you are thinking like a manager who is managing some farm. Prabhupada said, golf course of difference, huge difference. What I am doing is going to free me up.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, I'm trying
And
to
on the other
think.
hand, it's going to bind. So it's like that. So anxiety in the beginning might not be the message that I'm trying to communicate here is that one should be eager to take anxiety for Krishna. Now, that anxiety in the beginning stage might be in a very weak state, but slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, it has to grow up. Because thinking about Krishna, working for Krishna, thinking, feeling, and I have this term, thinking, feeling, and willing. These three things have to be aligned with Krishna's teaching. That's also higher anxiety, but anxiety too. Like for example, Rath Yatra, you are organizing. How to make sure that everything goes flow. It's all bhakti. Sunday feast today is going to happen. Making sure that everything flows. It's all bhakti. Nothing is physical. So that's the point I'm trying to drive here. That anxiety sometimes when we take and we say that I want to be free from it. I don't want to get into it. That means you are pulling ourselves from the bhakti. Anxiety is not bad as long as it's anxiety for Krishna. So that's the point I'm trying to drive. That's what Prabhupada is, teaching us. That put your head, take responsibility, try to promote Krishna consciousness. That anxiety is good. Just being outside and talking big will have very slow purification. Very slow purification. You will see that. Let's see that. In Path of Perfection, Prabhupada very clearly says, Krishna consciousness means activity. In Path of Perfection, chapter 1, Prabhupada says, take action for Krishna consciousness. For Krishna. Krishna consciousness means to purify the desire. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, when Prabhupada is giving class, he said that the purification of desire has to happen. Okay. So Krishna consciousness means activity. And for this action, you have to take some anxiety. How this thing will happen. Some anxiety has to happen. So that's how we are seeing it. Yes, Mataji. Before I get into next slide, I will let you ask if you have anything else. Shanta Mataji, you have something?
No. Yeah. Just I'm trying to see the diagrammatic way of that you, the Belka Prabhu, slowly initially our anxiety, and slowly that moved to the Krishna's anxiety. So yeah, agreed, bro. Thank you, bro.
So you want to read this one again?
Okay. What is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness means activity. Path of Perfection, Chapter 1. Krishna consciousness means to purify the desire. BC 6:11, Bhagavad Gita 6:11, 12. New York, September 7th, 1966.
So Prabhupada multiple places, in many classes, told about Krishna consciousness. So he said Krishna consciousness means action, service. And Krishna consciousness means to purify the desire. So what is the meaning of purifying the desire? Can somebody tell before I get into the next slide? What is the meaning of purifying the desire? It's very simple term. You should be able to explain that. What is the meaning of purifying the desire?
From material desires to spiritual desire, Prabhu, to devotion for Krishna.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Purifying the desire means having more spiritual desire, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. What else? What else?
Being that to be the central, the core desire, these, I mean, very central desire will be service to Krishna or love for Krishna.
Once again, Prabhuji, what did you say?
I meant the core desire, or
Uh-huh.
the most effective desire that we have, um, of highest intensity would be one for Krishna.
Yeah. So this desire is very important element in our devotional service. So why living entities are trapped into the material world?
Because soul has the lakshan of desire.
Independent will, yeah, free will. And what the free will does, Krishna does not interfere with the free will. And the free will has free will. The will is free. So, so then we desire separate, independent, independent will. I would be king, I would be queen, I'll be this, I'll be that, right? So desire has to purify. And purification of desire means aligning with, aligning with,
Desire of Krishna.
huh?
Desire of Krishna.
Yes, aligning with the desire of Krishna. Guru Sastra Sadhu Vakya, Tineta Kariya Yakya. Not Thakur says. That's what it means. Means
Are
taking the,
making our every desire towards Krishna, like
huh? Yeah,
whatever our desire, attaching that to Krishna. Like maybe I
right.
wanted to eat, maybe first I will had that as the prasadam for Krishna and then eat. So like all our desires, adding Krishna to that desire.
Yeah, yes, yes. So thinking, feeling, and willing has to be about Krishna. So purify the desire. So we are on the process of purifying our desire. And we should take services also. Okay. So this will be the last slide. Krishna consciousness means self abnegation. Now, many of you would not right away agree. Abnegation means renouncing, means giving ourselves, surrender to Krishna. So Krishna consciousness means self-abnegation, self-purification, self-rectification. That's what Prabhupada said, that one has to work on oneself for rectification, for purification. And the process he gives, he quotes Rupa Goswami's from Brihat, from Bhakti Samrita Sindhu. And Bhakti Samrita Sindhu gives a very beautiful definition of Yukt Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya. So this should also help us understand that what type of anxiety we are talking about. So anasaktasya vishayan yatha arahan upayunjataha nirbandh Krishna sambandhe yukt vairagyam uchyate. Nirbandh Krishna sambandhe. Anas asaktasya vishayan. Vishayan means object of sense gratification. That's what Bishan means. Those objects which are for sensual pleasure. So, anasaktasya, how much asakti, how much attachment and detachment we have to show depends on nirbandh Krishna sambandhe. Prabhupada said utility is the principle, or one of the concept that we follow is utility. What is the utility of that particular object? If it can be used in sambandh of Krishna, in service of Krishna, then we should use it. If it cannot be used in the service of Krishna, it cannot be, it should not be, it must not be used. So our attachment with any object is on its utility. And that's the definition, technical definition of Yukta Vairagya. If things have utility for Krishna service, then we use it. We have attachment for that. But if things does not have utility for Krishna service, we don't have utility for that. Otherwise, it's Falgu Vairagyam. It's false renunciation. So Yukt Vairagyam, our philosophy is Yukt Vairagya. So there are four types of attachment with the things of the material world. The first one is Vishaya Asakti. Second one is dovetailing, Samanjasya. Third one is Yukt Vairagya. And fourth one is spontaneous attachment. So Yukt Vairagya is higher, very high stage. One should not think that Yukt Vairagya is very, simple and we are doing it, or most of us are doing it. It's not. Maybe many of us are doing it. Many of us might not be doing it. So Yukt Vairagya, utility of the things based upon the service, how I can utilize that thing to serve Krishna. If that is our criteria, then we are in Yukt Vairagya. And there are many things in our houses. For example, fan, chamra, or arti plate that you have. You don't have any utility for those things personally, but you have those at your houses because by those we serve Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying that our attachment and detachment should be calibrated against, are we going to situate ourselves in Yukt Vairagya or Falgu Vairagya? So self-abnegation, Prabhupada said that how to see ourselves in context of material world is going to be defined by these two terms, Yukt Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya. How to attach with things of the world and how to detach. That's attachment and detachment is going to be defined that are we doing Yukt Vairagya or we are going with the Falgu Vairagya. So one of the example of Falgu Vairagya is that sometimes people would renounce certain things which are useful for Krishna consciousness. And one of the example is money, right? Artificially, you will see people would say that I don't want money. Prabhupada said, give me all the money. But I would use the money to build the temple, right? So money itself is not the problem. How it's being utilized is it decides that if there is utility, if it's being used for the right purpose or it's being used for the wrong purpose. There are many things. There are people who renounce the society. They go to the secluded place and they are completely cut off. Nirvishesha Shunyavadaya, completely renouncing, no attachment with things of the material world. So that type of Vairagya is Falgu Vairagya. So in Krishna consciousness, we have to practice Yukt Vairagya, which means living where people are, getting to them and giving the signs of Krishna. But that Prabhupada says is self-abnegation. Now, abnegation word might have some negative connotation. Abnegation means completely, rejecting of oneself. But that rejection is in terms of how we are seeing the utility of the things. Is it clear? It's not saying that we completely reject ourselves. That's not what it means here. We have to position ourselves in terms of utility of the things that is around us. And that is again advancement of Krishna consciousness. We'll see that. There will be some other slides that will talk about it. So Krishna consciousness means self-abnegation, Prabhupada said. He gave a class, he talked about that. And also in the purport of 6th chapter, 10th verse, Prabhupada makes this statement. If you go there, you will see that in one of the line Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness means self-abnegation. Anything anybody has here? This will be the last slide. We are going to adjourn in a minute. I'm not feeling good, so please forgive me. What is question you have? I see some. Yes, Benu Madhurya Prabhu. Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat, Hare Krishna.
Dhanyavad Prabhu. Thank you for the class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have two doubts. It may be very trivial doubts, but so Prabhupada's description of Krishna consciousness as Krishna anxiety, I understand what it is, at least from what you said. But is that the only way for having Krishna consciousness, or that is one of the way?
One of the way, not only
One
way.
of the, okay. And the second question is, so when, say, for example, when we plan things like Rath Yatra, we don't know what the weather is going to be. We are sometimes anxious how the weather is going to be, but it's something not in our control. So we say Krishna will take care, right? We are anxious, but at the same time, we'll say Krishna will take care of it. So maybe, is my understanding correct that Krishna anxiety is for things that are only under your control, or is it Krishna anxiety for anything related to Krishna? Am I clear, Prabhu?
Yeah, yeah. So that is getting to the questions that we have, been talking about in our Bhagavatam class. Now, why living being has to suffer? So that's more or less same thing. That what type of anxiety is a good anxiety? What anxiety we can take and what we cannot take? Because there are many things which are out of our control. Right? Is that right understanding?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
So what you would do if things are out of your control? What you would do for that? You would not take the anxiety, or you would
I will
still
just
try
go
to
to
do
Krishna
something?
and pray. Because he is the supreme controller. And if my taking anxiety is not going to fix anything,
Yes. So, Prabhu, to answer your question here, anxiety does not mean that we become the full controller. Okay. There are two things: Krishna's sanction and devotees' desire. So, if Krishna will sanction, then your desire will fulfilled. So, what you said is correct. We have to take the anxiety, our desire, our will, our part is that we try to serve. Now, can we serve that way or not? That is Krishna's will. So taking anxiety does not mean that we become the full controller of things. Still, Krishna's part is on Krishna's side. So you can pray, you can say, my dear Lord, I would like, this rain to not happen. All of that we can do, but still Krishna's will, whatever he likes to do, he will do. So anxiety does not mean that we become full controller, which means still there is part that is depending on Krishna. Is that answer your question, Prabhu?
yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
So
Thank
that
you.
doesn't mean that we become Krishna. No, no. We just take the anxiety to make things happen right. But still, Krishna is desired. And I remember once we tried a lot, but it was such a bad day that we couldn't stop the rain. It was raining. It was 2018 in Tower Grove Park. And we decided that let's go. Let's do the uh, Rath Yatra. We did Rath Yatra. Although weather was very bad, but we did Rath Yatra in the bad weather. So it's like that. So we try our best. We tried to avoid. We were waiting to see if there is any time where there is no rain. That's the anxiety we took. But ultimately, there was never a time when it stopped raining. So we decided that, you know what, either we do Rath Yatra today or we don't do it. If everything is set up, let's do it. We went and did Rath Yatra while it was raining. You still see the video is there on the YouTube. And as soon as we came back out of parade, rain was over. And everything else took place like normal. So it's like that, Krishna is still the controller. Living being has part of the role to play, but we never become the full controller. We have to take the anxiety for Krishna, but still it's Krishna's will and how he would like things to manifest. Is that okay, Prabhu, or you have something that you'd like to add?
No, Prabhu, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll pause here and then we'll continue. A lot of things here to talk about. We'll talk one after another. So, but please remember this statement. Krishna consciousness means anxiety and also action, Prabhupada said. Take service. And you will see when we'll give the technical definition of sadhana bhakti, this term comes. Prabhupada has taken everything from our acharyas. He has simplified and given in a very simpler format, but things are coming from acharyas. So you'll see that where this activity thing comes again when we give the definition of sadhana bhakti. I would like to have a pause here and see if there is anything else anybody has before we adjourn.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Thank
Mataji,
you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. I don't have any question, but I really loved the discussion today we had regarding anxiety. And honestly speaking, I'm not qualified to add anything, but just saying from my experience, you can correct me. So actually, anxiety, I feel like all our acharyas have talked about this anxiety. Like if we see like Bhakti Vinod Thakur's, I'm just saying because if you can tell me like if I'm thinking in the right direction. So if we see like literally all the songs about Bhakti Vinod Thakur, which is written by Bhakti
Yeah,
Vinod Thakur, is about lolium and anxiety. So anxiety is like কবে হবে বলো সেদিনে আমার, when will
yeah,
that day come, কবে হবে হেন দশা মোর, when will that condition will appear, when I will forget about the material desires and I will think about only you, O Krishna. And then lolium palya dashi kori, like when will that day come, I will become the servant of Lalita Saken, who will take me to Shrimati Radharani. So it is all our acharyas have said. And I believe Prabhupada is the living example who have exemplified these things. I mean, many still now, many people actually criticized Prabhupada that why he had to leave Vrindavan, he went to the West. I mean, honestly, Prabhupada could have just lived in Vrindavan and stayed in the Paramhansha stage, and he could have continued with his spiritual journey. He didn't have to come to the West, but he took all the anxiety to come to the West to deliver the fallen souls. I mean, it is Krishna consciousness. So I feel like it's all about taking anxiety, but at the same time, as Shanta Mataji mentioned, Benu Madhav Prabhu, everyone said this thing like, we take anxiety by remaining under the shelter of Lord Krishna. Anxiety means like doesn't mean that we are Krishna and like we will be able to solve everything. And also, I remember Lal Gopal Prabhu was mentioning in the Mukunda Mala Stotram sessions that Kulashekar Alavar is saying that oh Krishna, I pray that all your obstacles go away. I mean, it is the bhakta is saying that, oh Bhagavan, I mean, your obstacles go away. So this is like taking, I feel like this is a concrete example of taking anxiety for Krishna, not for ourselves. I mean, the devotee is not concerned about like what will happen to us, but about like what will happen to Krishna. And I have even heard from some Rasik devotees, I don't know if it is appropriate to talk here or not, but I have heard from some Rasik devotees also when they do Aarati, specifically the Mangal Aarati, their mood is like all about taking anxiety. Means, oh Radha and Krishna, may Jatila Kotila don't disturb you during your pastimes. Oh, may any obstacles come to you. So when they put the, I mean, show the diya, so I mean the deep lamp, so the anxiety is like, oh, may your obstacles go away. I mean, you should not feel any disturbance in your pastimes. And also I have heard all these things. So I don't know, like you have kind of mentioned all the stuff, and you gave one example of like Jagannath Rath Yatra, I mean, organizing Jagannath Rath Yatra. And you use the term like anxiety in that context. So, Prabhuji, like that is like anxiety or like doing like activity for Krishna consciousness. But for example, we want to, organize Jagannath Rath Yatra, but then, some obstacles come up, but we should remain calm, right? At that point of time, we should not be like too much anxious that okay it's not happening, but yeah, I mean we can just do our job at that point of time by remaining surrendered unto Krishna. I mean, yeah, those things were kind of rolling
Yeah.
around
So
my mind.
anxiety literally here and means that lolium that you're talking about.
Yeah,
So it's basically not in a negative connotation mostly that anxiety we think. It's basically greed. Greed to make Krishna happy. Like
yeah,
all the gopis are very happy when Radha and Krishna meets, right? And they're making all the plans. They're
yeah.
setting everything up beautifully so that Radha and Krishna can meet, right? So,
Yes,
so in that lolium, giving the
yeah,
pleasure, having that bhav, that
yeah,
how can I make Lord Jagannath appear in front of everybody? So that is lolium more. The anxiety word here is basically Prabhupada says that to make it more clear that taking anxiety to make Radha and Krishna happy, making sure that they are being served, that type of lolium, that type of greed. Yes, you said very nicely. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in many of his songs, other acharyas also, and you cited that Kabe Hobe Bola Yadina Amar. There he very clearly says, that uh, when that day will come, many places. You're right. And
yeah.
Lolium is highly, highly, there is only, Nityanand Prabhu says, there is only one price, that everybody has to pay. That is great for Krishna. I'm standing in the market selling the Krishna. But you don't have to buy this Krishna consciousness by paying the money. All you have to do is that desire. You have a desire to buy, desire to serve Krishna. Lalyam is sufficient. So you said very well. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
No,
And
thank you.
what you ask, about devotee praying Krishna protections, that is also part of this discussion. We'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
no, I heard it actually
Yeah,
from Lal Gopal Prabhu in the Mukundamala Stotram. Like it is a, like a kind of like higher stage,
yeah.
probably.
So this is
Yeah,
a very, I'm dealing with the very introductory Krishna
yeah,
consciousness, and then slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly will build up. Thinking about Krishna, and then what Krishna is thinking about me. Now, some of those things when you hear, you will say, "Prabhu, this doesn't make sense at all. It's too far off here. It's very theoretical."
Hmm.
But we have to at least technically understand these terms.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll have more discussions. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchkalpataru Vesa Kripa Sindhu Vesa Bhaktanam Pavana Vaishnava Namo Namo.